Buying a business is the fastest path to financial freedom. However, there's a lot of myths and misinformation out there. So in today's video, I'm going to cover the 5 biggest myths about buying a business you should know today so you are ready. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am your host, Leo Landaverde, business broker and commercial lender, helping you buy and scale a profitable business. If you are a small business owner looking to increase your wealth, or a W-2 employee sick and tired of the rat race, ready to get out by buying a profitable business, you are in the right place. Please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell. You'll be notified every Thursday when new content comes out. Number 1, the number 1 myth, buying a business with no money down. If I tell you how many times I've gotten an email, a comment, or somebody hitting me on social media and say, hey, Leo, can I buy a business with no money down? And I always chuckle every time I get a comment like that, because unless you bought a business, it is impossible to explain in 2 sentences why all the reasons why you shouldn't. I know there are a lot of gurus out there that actually teach you how to do leverage buyouts, LBOs, and you can acquire the assets of a business and not put any money down. But the reality is I don't teach any of that. And I have, in my 10 plus years, and over $100 million worth of deals on buy side or sell side with real deals, with real cash flow closed by banks, with real banks, I never seen it happen. But there's only one time, and it's only one opportunity where that happens, and that is when you have a same NAICS code expansion loan. We're using an SBA loan by somebody who is expanding, who already has a very profitable business with a very strong balance sheet that doesn't need a down payment. Everybody else needs a down payment. But think about it from the point of view of the seller and of the bank. Now, the myth is, hey, you can buy a business with no money down. So here's the truth. As a seller, if I was selling my business and if I had a choice between 2 buyers and one is putting 10%, 15%, 20% money down out of their own pocket, skin in the game into the deal, and I get the lender to give me 70, 80, 90%, am I going to take that buyer more seriously than if I talk to a buyer who is actually sweet talking me into basically just hand over the keys to the business with nothing, no skin in the game? Who do you think I would go for? Now, in this hyper-competitive environment where there are 15 really good buyers with high net worth going after the same businesses that somebody with no cash is going after, who do you think is going to win, right? I can't help you if you have no money to invest. For the same reason that you don't buy homes with the money down, buying in a business is a very complex matter. It's a very complex ecosystem. We spend hundreds of hours inside of our business buying group called Business Acquisition Mastery, learning how to actually buy right. But no matter which way you buy, and buyers ultimately decide the price, we gotta come up with some money down, at the very least 5%. Now, it used to be, and what I really want is 10%. 10% down from the buyer with some 10% post-closing equity. And you'd be thinking, oh my gosh, that is crazy. How am I being able to do that? Well, before you go too far down the road, let me explain something to you. The SBA rules keep changing, right? They were one way a year ago. As of June 1st, 2025, whenever you're watching this video, there was a significant change about equity injection as far as seller standby. In the past, a seller could actually help a buyer towards the equity injection so long as there's an equity injection of total 10% and the bank gives you 90%. It could have been that the seller would give you all 10% and you put the money down and you can save your money for post-closing liquidity or working capital. And the seller did not have to guarantee anything. Basically, they could help you. And it was happening a lot with family members, with siblings or children buying the parents' business. Well, what happened was it was abused. It was largely abused. And whenever something happens and is abused, it's overcorrected. Then the SBA said no more if a seller is going to help a buyer with the equity injection, which buyer should come up with at least 10%. But if let's say that the buyer comes out only with 5%, the other 5% has to be personally guaranteed for at least 2 years. Actually, any percentage of ownership retention is going to have to be personally guaranteed. But the 5% that helps towards the equity injection, that's going to be on standby for 10 years. So it's a reality check for a lot of sellers. Now, so what what you want to do is there's ways to do this, but I think is if you think you can come in and buy in a business with no money down, well, it ain't going to happen. So that's myth number one. Number two, every business has management in place. Now, isn't that what we all want? If you are a senior executive working for a Fortune 500 who you oversee 100 employees and you make $300,000 a year, but you want to have your own thing, you want to invest in your own generational wealth, you want to control the chips, you want to control the asset that makes the cash go around, the cash flow, and then you think you're going to find a business with 30 employees with seasoned middle management, and they're all been around for 10 years, and there's a GM that's going to run the place. It's going to be flawless, 60 years in business with intellectual property, no diversification, no higher customer concentration, and everything that we want as buyers. You think you're just going to find it out there, and it's going to have management in place. You've got something else coming. Businesses that have existing management in place that has been intact for 10 years are very, very hard to come by. Very, very hard. Because most small business owners, businesses that are for sale are heavily owner dependent. Hence, that's why we calculate a lot of our deals on seller discretionary earnings, not adjusted EBITDA. Okay, let me explain something. Seller discretionary earnings is the net income plus the EBITDA plus all the add-backs related to the owner who is actually walking away, which means they're not going to happen anymore. But it implies that you're going to have to roll up your sleeves, go to work, right? So in a sense, it may feel like you're actually buying yourself a job. But if you see and understand what you're trying to do, and if all the numbers make sense, and you understand that the business has been mismanaged, and you're going to groom and promote from within and create a middle management level, and then you can see yourself in 1 to 2 years to be able to do that and to turn it into an absentee ownership type of business, good for you. I would be amazing. But it's not what happens right away. You're not going to walk into the situation. Very, very few businesses that I ever sold have a walk into a situation where there is a GM in place who is not willing to buy the business, who is willing and happily to stay as an employee and let somebody else take the business. It's very, very hard to do. Most small businesses are owner reliant. SOPs, standard operating procedures, and employee handbooks are often non-existent. You're inheriting tribal knowledge, not a system. If you want passive income, you're better off buying other types of businesses like commercial real estate, but then you're looking at a different model. You're trading in cap rates and very, very low because they're overpriced. Replacing owner means replacing the trust with the staff, customers, and vendors. So what I want you to think about it is when you're looking at a business, that's one of the criteria that we look inside of our business acquisition mastery group is what do we need to do today to be able to turn it into what we want, given what we know. Where is the opportunity? Wait, are you stuck and trying to figure out how to buy a business? I'm here to help you. We have helped many folks. We have 140 members in our mastermind, and we're solving problems every day, removing the roadblocks that is stopping people from buying a business. What is the ideal debt service coverage ratio? Should I get working capital? Should I get pre-approved before or after I make an offer? What is an LOI? What is a stock purchase? And many other questions. You got questions, we have answers. Reach out to us. Either drop me a comment below or send me an email. My email address is up here or down below. Let's connect, right? Because I tell you what, if you are competing with a business that has $500,000 or more, that is the market right there. $500,000 or more of SDE, or 400,000 or more of adjusted EBITDA, which you take your SDE minus the cost of a GM, say 100,000, that gives you adjusted EBITDA of 400,000. Those businesses that have intellectual property, been around for decades, that have a GM, stable and very steady cash flow, not a lot of seasonality and retention, high customer retention, recurring revenue model and everything we want, those are going to trade at a higher value. Well, then they're going to have a management in place. But guess what? Those buyers that you're competing with, they actually write checks for cash. Those are the private equity groups, the institutional buyers, the publicly traded companies, the family offices. Those are the ones you're competing with. And chances are they're much faster than you in making decisions. They're going to throw an LOI with a bunch of cash and they're going to price you out. They're willing to pay a premium for those deals that have management in place. So you're looking in some ways for fixer-uppers, right? So myth number 3, you can trust the financials at face value. We actually laugh at that one inside of our group. We probably analyze anywhere from as little as 3 to as much as 6 to 7 deals per week inside of our group. Deals anywhere from $100,000 in cash flow, more often than not in the $300,000 to $700,000 range of annual net operating income as per tax returns. And yes, you can get tax returns most of the time if you know how to ask. So that is the biggest lie. You can trust financials at face value. Inside of our industry, as an M&A advisor that I am, I look at interim financials and I give them zero credit. They're not, and many times they're not worth the paper they're printed on. They're heavily discounted. We don't make decisions on interim financials. We only look to compare them on accrual to see whether the cash returns and reconcile the two against cash-based tax returns, whether it's 1120, 1120S, partnerships, etc. Only as it matters to comparison the variance between cash and accrual. But you don't trust them. You don't make decisions. We cannot afford to make offers. And the only time that you're actually able to make decisions on interim financials other than tax returns is on audited financials or quality of earnings reports. An audit is going to set you back $30,000. A quality of earnings report can set you back $20,000 to $30,000. So there are many other ways to do that. So you will not want to trust them. And there's something that I teach quite a bit inside of Module 3 of deal analysis inside of our group. Number 4, buying is always better than starting from scratch. Yeah. Buying is always better than that's a myth. Now, it is true if you buy right. If you buy a seasoned business that hits all the marks in our punch list, and let me tell you, the buyer's checklist that we give away, the punch list, we use the heck out of it, plus many other tools that we only share inside of our group. There are the many, how do we analyze all the opportunity, and we do an entire SWOT, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats on every deal we look at. We spin it, we look at it. Does it make sense operationally? Does the industry make sense? Does the operations make sense? Do the financials make sense? Does it legally make sense? Do the employee situation make sense? Does the market make sense? We evaluate it. And at all those concentric rings, we look at to see whether buying a business, if this business passes the sniff test and we raise the bar, is because buying a business doesn't guarantee a better outcome. You need to understand that what you're buying is a fragile cash flow ecosystem. It's not for the faint of heart. You have to have some industry standards or KPIs, something driven. You have to understand how business operate. If you know accounting, even better, because accounting is the language of business. We are constantly teaching the members of a group accounting, how to understand the intricacies between the balance sheet and the P&L and the statement of cash flows and the relationship between the two, and when to add, when to take away, when to discount, when to give credit, how much credit. So if you pass all of that and you're buying this fragile ecosystem, it's fragile because what happens is what seems like institutional knowledge is something a seller may say, hey, look, I have been operating this business for 30 years. I only work 10 hours a week. Well, to work 10 hours a week, this owner has been building something for 30 years to allow them to only work 10 hours. All of this stuff that may take you hours to figure out, they do it in 3 minutes. That type of knowledge, that unconscious competence that an owner has to be transferred to you. So you have to understand what you're buying, okay? So last but not least, number 5, you need to be an industry expert. Now, this is a myth. Now, do you have to be an industry expert in order to buy a business in the industry that you're buying into? No. One of the things that we pride ourselves of inside of our business acquisition mastery group is that the fact that we can bridge a gap. We can put a bridge on that management experience that is circumstantial into the business that you're trying to buy, and we do that all the time. We have the 20 plus SBA nationwide preferred lenders. We teach that. How do we turn ourselves? How do you turn your resume into a buy box that is going to make the phone ring for you, and how to give you the competitive advantage, on how you can turn yourself into an industry expert in no time? Because what makes someone a great owner-operator is not the technical leadership. That can be learned. The licensing can be acquired. so forth and so on. But the leadership, the vision, and the systems thinking, that is what's going to make somebody going from that's the difference with somebody who can be a GM, somebody who can be the CEO. While industry knowledge helps, it's not a prerequisite. Many successful acquirers bring fresh thinking into a business. So think an outdated industry, and you're infusing it with technology, with a great website, marketing campaigns, a fresher look, a new website, a new way of doing business, and new systems, new operations, new procedures. That's what makes a business great, and that's what makes you very unique. So you want to know more about how we do it? Reach out to us. Hopefully this video is helpful to you guys. Thank you for watching. For a limited time, I'm giving away our business buying calculator, which we call the Deal Analyzer 2.0, and our business buyer's checklist. These two items have been downloaded thousands of times, and I'm giving away for free because I know that you need this information. The buyer's checklist, basically a punch list that you have to go through if you're actually buying a business. This comes from real deals done over many years. And the deal analysis and the calculator, those are tools that we use every day inside of our group. Those are my gifts to you from watching my content.